Still hot out here. Phoenix, Arizona. Not used to that humidity. That's why I moved to the desert. That's why all of us moved out here to the desert. Dry heat. It's a dry heat in the desert. You know, I've been trying to cope with this as best as I can. I'm still grieving. I still cry every day. And I'm a man because I can cry, and I cry because I'm a man, right? But beyond that, it's because I lost somebody really special to me, and it was at the moment that we just fell in love. And dealing with all this stuff, everything that's happened, has been a constant struggle. Accepting the fact that the autopsy report, the medical examiner, I got 6 pages of an autopsy, and the pivotal things that I want to understand, like delivery to the body, I asked him, how was it administered? Can you tell me how she got fentanyl in her system? You guys are saying she died from fentanyl. She didn't do fentanyl. But if you're saying she did, then at least tell me the delivery method. Was it inhaled or ingested? They're like, we don't know. I'm like, wow, okay. 6 pages of an autopsy report. Did you guys do a hair follicle test? They're like, no. I'm like, wow. I want to understand if she was a long-term user or a short-term user that did it recently and did it one time and died. Can't tell me that. Wow. Okay. Trying to understand what I can do to just try to understand this better. Talked to her mom a couple weeks after she died. Mom said she would talk when the autopsy report came back. That was a couple weeks ago. I haven't heard from her. I haven't called her because I want to respect her and give her her space. Because I respect people, I respect family. If she doesn't call me back in the next week or two, I'm going to reach out to her. If she responds to my message or answers her phone, that'd be great, because I have so many questions. I have questions that need answering because I don't want to fucking be thinking about this the rest of my life with no answers and no closure. Everybody needs to have closure. Everyone needs to have some set of peace and understanding to understand WTF. What the just happened? What just happened? And how did this happen? Police don't know what the hell's going on. They didn't even get the videotape. Are they even going to figure out who did this? I hope so. So a lot of people don't understand. This is not just about losing somebody. This is not just about grieving somebody that you lost. I keep trying to think about the good things in the midst of like all this grief. But this is not just about grieving the life of someone that was cheated out of their life, which is fundamentally necessary to understand about this case. Sarah was cheated out of her life. Her life was robbed from her. Her life was taken from her at 39 years young, forever 39. She is gone, and someone took her life from her. This is about understanding who the fuck is responsible. How did this happen? Did it happen at the hotel? Was it her cousin that gave it to her? They never got the video footage. The hotel is shut down now. How are they going to figure it out? The more the time goes on, the more I lose hope. And even though I'm demanding an investigation, now I realize that even if they do, how are they going to figure it out? How are they going to figure this out? I'm just using my common sense just based on what I know about investigation. And as sometimes I refer to myself as an independent journalist, but I'm not a journalist by trade. I'm a researcher. And just because I have a YouTube channel, does it make me a journalist? I don't know. Some people, sometimes, maybe I am to an extent. But what I am is a researcher. And inquiring minds want to know and want to understand. And you can look back through my over 1,600 videos and you can see tons of videos where I've done the basic research and extensive research. Where I've done my homework, cross-referenced information, made sure that I was checking information to make sure that I was verifying and relaying reliable information and not just regurgitating something I heard on the internet. So if I did that with situations that were non-personal, that people in situations that had nothing to do with me, my family, or any personal connections I had, how much more will I stand for something in a situation where it was personal to me? A relationship of a woman that I, at the 11th hour, realized that we had love for each other. How much more would I do research? Of course I'm going to do research. Of course I'm going to do everything that I can. Because I want the answers. I want to know. I don't want this shit to be hanging over my head and pondering thoughts of wondering, was this, was that, did she do this, did she do that, like how did this and that, and what really happened with this and that, and was she really... did she really have a secret drug problem, or like did she do it one time and who gave it to her? Was it someone at the hotel? Was it her cousin? Like what is going on? Like if it's possible to know as much as I can know, I want to know it. I need to know it. I fucking need to know it. I can't have this shit just lingering in limbo, like, and being one of these people, and no offense to anyone that's dealt with stuff, but listen, I've had different issues. You know, my mother, I was her caretaker for a while, and when she died, I still struggle with that for years afterwards. That's my mom, though, you know? But this situation is different, and I can see this lasting and lingering for years. And I want to grieve her, and I want to mourn for her, and I don't want to let her go. But I also don't want to be somebody that starts to lose years of my life because I can't get past something, because I can't find a balance between the answers and trying to understand what is truth and what's not truth. I need to understand that shit. When it comes down to a situation where somebody was not even from the giddy up given the justice that they deserved, well, you know, Phoenix PD said, oh no, we don't have probable cause, or this or that, there's no reasonable suspicion, there's no evidence of foul play, so we can't get the videotape. I was like, yo, get that video footage from the hotel. They were like, can't do it. I'm like, you can't do it or you won't do it? They were like, well, we can't because legally, because we don't have suspicion. I was like, bullshit. I was like, get it. Get the camera footage. Just get it. I was like, why? I don't understand. Like, why not? Like, why can't you get it? And they were like, oh, because then I was like, I really think you guys need to get it because regardless, here we are now in this situation. Here it is 3 months later after Sarah passed. This is actually the prime example of why they should have got that camera footage. Here's the prime example. The prime example of, wow, holy shit, actually she did die under suspicious. Oh, I'm sorry, officer, didn't you say there was no evidence of foul play? People say, officers will say, law enforcement will say, well, there was no evidence of foul play at the time. Okay. Why the fuck didn't you get the camera footage? Why didn't you get the fucking camera footage at 24 hours of surveillance before the fact that she was found? Why? they're going to tell me a reason why. Fuck why. I'm not going to ask the question, why didn't you do it? I'm just going to say, fuck you. You should have got it. You know you guys should have got it. And whether or not based on standard operational procedure or based on legalities, and if the police want to try to use this fucking scapegoat and excuse and say, oh, our hands were tied, we couldn't do it legally, you know what? Whether I agree or whether I acknowledge or say, okay, at this point, I'm not even going to acknowledge it to the extent where I'm going to say, oh, yeah, I understand. No. You should have fucking got the camera footage, whatever it took. I made it very clear. I was like, yo, this is a relatively healthy 39-year-old woman. Yeah, she's got a lung infection, some asthma. She's dealing with something, wet lung infection, like something. She had this weird cough. She's been having headaches. I was like, I don't know what's happening right now. Maybe she died from cardiac arrest. Maybe she died from an aneurysm that popped in her fucking head. One of those things that like kills you like instantly. Like at the time I was like, I don't know what to believe right now. But then again, under the circumstances in the back of my mind, I'm thinking, wow, this is strange. Is there something else? Is it really natural? Now it all kind of makes sense to the extent that she died so suddenly, and now the autopsy says that she died from fentanyl. And I'm like, oh, wow, okay. I guess this does make sense on why she died so suddenly. And then I see the concentrations that it showed, 46 nanograms. 46 ng. Even the medical examiner was like, yeah, that's a lot. That's high. I'm like, I don't know shit about this stuff. I mean, can you guys tell me, like, what is considered high? They were like, well, you know, some people have 2 to 5. Some people have 10, 20, whatever. They were like, it's all different. But they were like, yeah, 46 is high. And I was like, okay, can you tell me if that indicates that she was a long-term user, a prolonged user, or somebody who actually just did it one time? Because that's what I really need to understand. I want to know if the woman I loved was lying about her drug addiction. And it's not even just about that. I want to know, because what I believe is that unbeknownst to her, that she probably did it one fucking time, it was laced, and she did it one time and it killed her. That's what I believe. But for me to kind of come to that conclusion and substantiate that, to make sense of it, I need to know those answers. And the more I asked the medical examiner again and again, do you know this? Do you know that? Based on the toxicology report, can you tell whether or not she was long-term user? But they were like, no, we can't. You know, I was like, well, then, that's based on the toxicology. Okay, so you can't tell me. You didn't do a hair follicle test. That would have really helped me out. You guys tested everything in her body, but you didn't fucking test that. Wow, that's great. Okay, so now when it comes back to testing, it shows everything from the brain to the heart, the liver, the lungs, kidney, like everything, right? But when I asked them just a few basic questions, can you guys tell me this? Can you tell me that? They were like, nope, we don't know. I asked them a pretty basic question, I thought. Can you tell me what the delivery method to the body was? How it was administered? Did she ingest it? Was it a pill? Or did she smoke something laced? I just want to know. Regardless of what the answer is, I just want to fucking know these answers. See, while you guys did your investigation, I'm doing my investigation because I'm trying to piece together a puzzle. And each piece that I put in its place starts to form a clearer picture where I'm trying to make sense for myself so I can understand what the fuck happened and how it happened. Because the girl that I know didn't do fentanyl. She was a fucking hippie pothead from Norway. All right? She was a sweetheart. She was a girl who liked to smoke her weed. She didn't even smoke a lot of weed. Like, she literally would take a couple puffs in the afternoon, here and there, whatever. take a couple puffs at night, like maybe smoke like a joint or two, like throughout the day. That's pretty casual recreational use. She liked her Tito's vodka. She liked to have some beers. Pretty normal person who drinks and smokes. Not everybody drinks and smokes, but is it, when I say normal, yeah, it's pretty common. It's what I've been doing for years. Smoking cigarettes, smoking weed, drinking. Now things have changed for me. Now I don't even want to smoke weed because now I'm like, oh shit. Like, I don't want to get anything laced. For real. Like, still having some beers from time to time. I'm about to let all that go. It's just, this has kind of made me reevaluate my life, you know, because I'm like, wow, okay, I need to make some life changes. But the fact that they couldn't even tell me the delivery method to the body, I'm like, so you can't tell me. I'm like, did you find any needle marks on her body? They said no. I'm like, okay, so you don't know if she swallowed a pill and digested this fentanyl, or you don't know if she inhaled the drug fentanyl. You guys don't know. And they were like, no, there's no way for us to know. And I'm like, wow. Okay, great. So this sucks. Now you guys basically came up with this autopsy and you found out this. But now what it's really done for me is it's created more questions than answers. I thought it would be a relief to some extent, where I thought, wow, this will, when the autopsy report comes back, it's going to give me the answers to help me to really understand what happened to Sarah. So I can really put some questions to rest and say, oh, okay, all right, now this all makes sense. Does it make sense that now I see that she died from fentanyl? To an extent, I guess so, because she died so suddenly. But nonetheless, now I have more questions than answers. And it's quite the opposite of peace of mind. It hasn't given me peace of mind at all. Now it's made me just go in circles, questioning things like, how did this happen? How, why, what percentage was this? How long has she been doing? Like, what the hell is going on? What is what?